What fictional character should have been hit with a huge lawsuit at the end of the story?
Barry Benson.
I was about to say, bro, imagine suing a bee, but then I realized it's the same bee who sued a corporation.
Jim Carrey's character at the end of Liar Liar would be on every no-fly list imaginable, and in prison for such a huge number of offenses for breaking into an airport and stealing a set of air stairs, putting an entire flight at risk, etc., etc.
One of those ask a real lawyer things actually went into detail about how his behavior during the Coles divorce hearing would have gotten him disbarred before he even had a chance to call his client to the stand.
Is that the Legal Eagle guy? If so, I missed that one. His videos are really entertaining and yeah, disbarment at the least.
Pretty much every adult in a series of unfortunate events.
Given that the in-universe legal system of ASOUE allows a man to marry his adopted 13-year-old daughter, coerced by a threat to her baby sister's life, under the guise of a fraudulent play, presided over by a judge unaware she is acting in an official capacity, and absolute none of this legally invalidates that marriage, and the only thing that saved Violet was a loophole that a signature doesn't count if written with one's non-dominant hand. I don't have high hopes for the Baudelaires in civil court.
John Hammond from Jurassic Park. His legal team would spare no expense.
From memory, there's a deleted scene from The Lost World, Jurassic Park, where that happens. It's a boardroom discussion about payouts to the families of the workers who died and to the British family that accidentally stumbled upon Isla Sorna. Because of it, the board agrees to sack Hammond and make Ludlow head of Ingen with immediate effect. Ludlow then comes up with a plan to get their money back by opening up the park in San Diego using dinosaurs from Isla Sorna. Come to think of it, removing that scene kind of removes a poolload of context from the rest of the film.
The Umbrella Corporation.
I'm sure litigation is real high on the priority list in a zombie apocalypse.
I'm going for the low-hanging malpractice suit that is House.
In one episode, DNR, Season 1 Episode 9, Cuddy tells him, "When I hired you I also set aside $50,000 a year for legal expenses. So far you've come in under budget."
Sterling Archer in about every episode of Archer.
Mallory Archer for all the workplace health and safety violations in just about every episode of Archer.
The Hulk. Good luck with that.
The Power Rangers, they're a paramilitary group and are almost never officially sanctioned to operate by their relevant municipalities. They cause massive amounts of destruction from their fights and by not warning anyone about the enemies they battle.
I love the description of the Power Rangers as a paramilitary group.
The gang from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia should be bankrupt from lawsuits and or in jail by now from all the stuff they've done.
The Xmas episode where Charlie attacks Santa in the mall would have landed him some serious jail time. He probably would have chosen to represent himself in court too and got a few more years tacked onto his sentence. Dewey from School of Rock.
Yay, I'm not sure how he avoided any kind of charge. Even after the Kick-Ass Rock show, there must have been one parent who was like, "I'm still calling the cops."
The entire site crew along with the Santa Barbara PD.
You know that's right.
The effer who ran the Truman Show.
The fact that the government never put a stop to the show experiment and very few people even batted an eye about it, makes me wonder about the state of their government, like was it some sort of dictatorship or something?
Yeah, the moment Truman turns 18 he's being held against his will.
Chris from Total Drama. Edit. A list of crimes he committed. Multiple attempted murders, manslaughter, physical and psychological abuse, endangerment, torture, grievous bodily harm, pollution, animal cruelty, fraud, terrorism, snuff filming, property damages, enslavement, poaching, sabotage, arson, attempted destruction, corruption.
I'm pretty sure he went to prison at one point, though not necessarily for putting every contestant's life in danger, if I remember correctly.
It's still running, but I can only imagine all the labor laws Mr. Krabs has broken.
You really think Nick will ever end SpongeBob?
Not as long as it makes money.
The nerds from Revenge of the Nerds. Yes, the people they were getting revenge at were absolute jerks, but the nerds committed sex crimes in retaliation.
Michael Scott.
A lot of the office employees too. Dwight and Jim had some instant fired moments.
Willy Wonka. I mean, isn't it obvious? Edit. A lot of people are saying they signed a contract. So here is the article one found at the top of Google that agrees with me. Article. Link. Edit 2. Here is the legal eagle a lot of people are talking about in replies. Video. Link.
Haha. He's the inspiration for my question actually.
Every character in Grey's Anatomy. Lols.
I remember how in the 6th ever episode, their boss walked into Meredith and a friend illegally performing an autopsy on a patient despite not having permission to do so and were informed they could permanently lose their licenses, and they were allowed to continue.
That was not Meredith, but yes, lol. My mother is a nurse and cringes at the whole show.
Ferris Bueller.
Everything that goes on with the car, hijacking a parade float, or trespassing throughout the neighborhood. Man, the 80s were a different time.
Vernon Dursley from Harry Potter. Child abuse, both verbally and possibly physically.
A general question on Harry Potter lore. Does the Muggle justice system apply to magical folk since they're human, or are they somehow separated?
Jack and the Beanstalk. Jack repeatedly tricked his way into a house to steal stuff, when asked about it lied, and committed murder and damage to the environment. And I bet giant beanstalk are endangered plants.
Greater than, and then Jack chopped down what was the world's last beanstalk, adding murder and ecological terrorism to the theft, enticement, and trespass charges already mentioned, and all the giant's children didn't have a daddy anymore. But he got away with it and lived happily ever after, without so much as a guilty twinge about what he had done. Which proves that you can be excused for just about anything if you are a hero, because no one asks inconvenient questions. Susan Stowe Heelert, Hogather, Terry Pratchett.
Jason Mendoza from The Good Place.
I mean, the only reason why he didn't face criminal charges is because he died.
Chris Farley's character in Black Sheep. The dude takes a police car, evades arrest, then holds up the cheating governor's election celebration by taking a hostage and having a co-conspirator with a rocket launcher threaten the audience. Then they all just laugh it off and he goes back to work with kids.
Barney from How I Met Your Mother would 100% have more sexual assault allegations than Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby combined.
I subscribe to the theory that Ted, as the narrator of the story, exaggerates Barney's womanizing to make himself look better in comparison.
Because of its wanton destruction, that hungry caterpillar.
I dunno. I don't think his destruction extends to small claims court, let alone becomes worth a lawsuit. The monetary value of 1 apple, 2 pears, 3 plums, 4 strawberries, 5 oranges, a slice of cake, an ice cream cone, a pickle, a slice of Swiss cheese, a piece of salami, a lollipop, a sausage, a muffin and a piece of watermelon tops out at maybe $10 minus 20, and we could even argue that the Swiss cheese was untouched, because who knows what holes were already there. Now, if the leaf turned out to be from a very valuable plant, you might have a case. But at that point, can you even sue anything? One could easily argue that the butterfly, due to extensive physical and mental changes undergone during metamorphosis, is not illegally culpable for the actions of the caterpillar. It's a lose-lose, and I'd suggest you avoid the legal fees. The caterpillar is essentially judgment-proof.
Any rom-com protagonist should be faced with a few stalking charges and maybe some sexual harassment ones as well.
Indiana Jones. He did quite a few illegal things, like grave robbing, stealing artifacts and helping a Chinese mafia.
Wanda in WandaVision.
The number of lawsuits that the Avengers would be saddled with would destroy most businesses.
Umbridge. Or beaten by an irate parent for abusing their kid.
I have 2. 1. Peter Griffin has committed several federal offenses and has brutally murdered tons of people. 2. You may get mad at me but, Michael Scott. He has done a lot of things that are considered illegal, hitting Meredith with his car, held a pizza boy hostage, and several counts of what might be considered harassment. If Peter was convicted in a court of law he would get either death row or a life sentence.
If you're saying Peter, I'd definitely also say that Eric Cartman should be locked away. He fed Scott Tenorman his parents. He tried to finish what Hitler started. He stole a whale, with help from friends, from the aquarium and sent it to the moon. He committed major election fraud. Recently, he filed a false report to get Kyle's family sent to detention centers. And I completely agree about Michael Scott.
MI6 from the Bond franchise would have to have a financial reconciliation on whether or not saving the world was worth the billions of dollars of destruction across the globe, totally depleting the Crown's treasury.
They are sending their heavies who don't exist into hostile authoritarian regimes to kill war criminals with global-scale power, And you want to annoy them with lawyers.
Azula is literally a war criminal.
Yes, but with her brother now king, emperor, he probably absolved any crimes against her.
Tony Stark would have had to go on a very long hiatus from being Iron Man in 2015 due to being swamped with thousands of lawsuits and various criminal charges after his negligence resulted in the birth of an AI that orchestrated the destruction of a Wakandan South African city and the annihilation of an entire country, and the entire Earth had it succeeded.
Captain America. Civil suit.
Every single superhero ever. The amount of property damage is insane. Though I did like the nod to this in Jupiter's Legacy where the Utopian tells Paragon, "You're paying for that," in regards to the building that he damaged.
The real reason for secret identities. Spider-Man has no legal presence, no assets, no address, no phone number, no tax records. How are you going to sue him?
Hem hem.
Asterisk sighs deeply, asterisk. May I offer you a cough drop, Dolores?
Mario. Every innocent Goomba that was just walking around, didn't even try to attack him, was jumped on by a fat plumber.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.